Are you a little bit confused about exactly how much your cruise vacation is going to cost and you need to get a better understanding of your budget? Well, this video is for you. Stay tuned. How you doing, everyone? Rob from Cruise Seekers, and today we're going to talk about cruise vacation budgeting. It's a lot more than just trying to find a great price for your cruise. They're going to have to think about a whole host of other things just to get a good hold on exactly what you're going to spend on your cruise vacation. But before we get into that, I want to thank each and every one of you folks who have become a member of this Cruise Seekers community. Thank you so much for doing it. We love having you folks here. And if you have not become a member just yet, hey, think about subscribing, turn that notification bell on. We would love to have you part as the Cruise Seekers crew. And while you're down there, hey, hit that like button. It does help that YouTube algorithm. It does help this community grow. So with that out of the way, let us now talk a little bit about Cruise Budgeting 101. We're going to touch base on everything that you're going to need to kind of get a good idea about exactly how much you're going to spend on, so you have a good idea of how much money you need to kind of tuck away for your cruise vacation. Now, the very first thing you're going to need to do when you're budgeting for your cruise vacation is understand exactly what did you buy from the cruise line. Did you buy something that includes your tips included? Did you buy something that includes a drink package? Did you buy something that includes some Wi-Fi? What about specialty dining? Did it include that as well? Get a real good understanding of what you pre-purchased with your overall cruise booking. That gives you a good understanding of exactly where to kind of start off with, to kind of know if you need to supplement or you need to upgrade some of these things for your specific desires and needs. That's very, very important. I always kind of take a look at exactly what am I getting, understand exactly what I have and exactly what I want, so that I understand how to budget for my cruise vacation. That's rule number one. Once you got that, then the other stuff kind of fall into place relatively simply. But get that under your head first, and then you'll be able to kind of really budget well for your cruise vacation. So this next section I like to call my transportation and lodging section. You're going to have to get to your cruise one way, shape, or form, whether you're driving or you're flying. That has an inherent expense. For example, if you're driving, you got gas expenses. You're also going to have to figure out how much it's going to cost to park your car. And you still might be driving a good distance and you still have lodging. If you're driving, you might be able to find a hotel that will allow you to park your car at their property, so you can kind of mitigate some of those parking expenses. Think about those things. Think about what kind of gas mileage your car gets and how much the average cost is to fill up your car and how many miles you can go. Get a good understanding of your transportation costs. Airlines, of course, it's a little bit easier, right? You know how much the price of the airline fare is going to be. Just throw it into your budget. Understand that. If you fly economy, if you fly economy plus, if you fly first class, just put that number in there so you know exactly how much this is going to cost you. And don't forget your transfers if you're flying. You're going to have to get from the airport to your hotel, or you're going to have to get from the hotel to the cruise. You're going to have to figure out how to get from the cruise back to the airport. Make sure you understand these prices. Put in some good estimates in there. There's a great tool with Uber. You can get Uber estimates to figure out if you're going to use an Uber Black or an Uber XL. I always recommend Uber XL because you never know how small of a car you're going to get with regular Uber X. So, if you got a lot of luggage, you don't want to necessarily mess around with Uber X. It could get a little bit, dicey. And also you get nicer cars with Uber XL too. So that's my little tip. Now, the other tips that I like to talk about is how to get the best pricing and, for your airfare and for your hotel. We're going to talk about that in the next section. So one of the things many people ask me all the time is, Rob, when is the best time to book your airfare? When is the best time to book your hotels? We're going to talk about hotels first because it's the easiest. The best time to book your hotel is last minute. You're going to get the best price, but you got to be flexible. You got to say, I don't care where I'm staying. I just want to make sure I'm getting a 4-star hotel in this general vicinity. Then you'll be fine. But if you have some more proclivities towards certain brands or certain locations, you might have to have bookings a little bit sooner than last minute. Just make sure you book the kind of hotel you want, the best. Read the reviews, understand the hotel that you're going to be booking, but you will get the best prices last minute with hotels. Now, airfare is a completely different story. Let's first talk about domestic flights. Domestic flights, if you're booking during an off-peak season, the best time to book is 1 to 3 months out. Now, I'm about ready to book my flights for a December cruise. I'm starting to look right about now, but I will probably book in about a month in September for my December cruise. That's when you will find the best pricing. I'm starting to see the prices already creeping down and down and down. So I'm giving a good look right now to get an idea of when is the best time to book those flights. Now, if you're during the peak seasons, during, holidays, summer times, this is when you're going to want to book a little bit further out. You're going to want to book anywhere between 3 to 7 months out for those peak times for domestic flights. Now, international flights prices are a lot more stable. So for off-peak season for international flights, 2 to 8 months out, the prices are very stable. So don't try to push it to 2 months thinking you're going to get a good deal. If you start seeing good prices around 8 months out, jump on it, because you never know if it's going to get down to that price again. Just trust me when I tell you, folks, if you're about 2 to 8 months out during an off-peak season, book your flights. Now, if you are traveling during peak seasons, during the summertime, you're going to want to book even further out. 9 to 10 months out is where you usually find the best pricing for international flights when you're dealing with peak season. Now, the last of the really mandatory type of thoughts that you got to think about, what you're going to have to spend on, is for cruise insurance or travel insurance. I do not travel anymore without travel insurance. When I was younger, I played the dice game, and you know what? I just don't want to deal with it anymore. I know right now as an older person that there could be some bills that are out there that I just don't want to deal with. And it's really, really important to get good travel insurance. Now, for me, I travel a good amount per year, so I get annual travel insurance. If you do not travel often, look at per trip travel insurance. And sometimes the cruise lines have very good pricing for travel insurance too, especially if you're in the age group of 70 or older. So those are things that you're going to want to make sure you take care of, because nobody wants a bill that's very, very high because you got sick or you got, something really bad happened while you were on vacation, and now you got a bill to deal with, and you don't want to have that happen to you. Make sure you travel all the time with travel insurance. I highly recommend it, and put it in your budget. And there's actually one other expense that will always happen when you're doing a cruise vacation that is, you should just put it on your spreadsheet. And that is your non-cruise meals when you're before or after the cruise, right? You're going to be eating at the airport. You might be traveling in a day early. You're going to have to eat dinner somewhere out, someplace. You're going to be traveling in your car and you want to have some snacks on your long car ride. Put it in your budget, get a good understanding of that number, and you'll have a much clearer, mindset of exactly what you're spending. So that's the last of the really mandatory type of expenses that you're going to have for your cruise. Now we're going to talk a little bit about the non-mandatory expenses. These ones can go down to zero. It can go up really, really high, depending upon the kind of vacation you want. Now, these non-mandatory things are something that you're going to just have to think about. How do you want to cruise? What are you expecting from your vacation? Exactly what do you want to get out of your vacation? So, for example, me, I always upgrade my drink package from the classic to the premium. So I always make sure I budget that. I always have to have premium Wi-Fi, mainly because of my business. So I make sure I budget upgrading my Wi-Fi if I don't get premium Wi-Fi with my cruise package that I've already purchased. So I always make sure I budget those things. My wife and I also do like to go to specialty dining. We don't do a tremendous amount of specialty dining, but we look for good packages that we can use while we're on the ship. So we always budget for specialty dining. Now, there's also excursions. Excursions can be very, very pricey, but you can also get some good sales every now and then from the cruise line for your excursions. Think about what you want to do for your excursions and what kind of money you think you're going to need for it. Do some research. Either it's really simple, you see what the excursion that the cruise line is going to offer, this is the price, budget it. If you're doing some third party, search around the internet, talk to your travel advisor for some ideas for third party excursions, get the pricing. Budget it. And if you're going to do something on your own, understand you're going to have some transportation costs. How much does it cost for a taxi to get to like a beach somewhere that you're going? How much does renting a beach chair and maybe an umbrella cost at that location? Budget it. do your research, get it into your spreadsheet. And finally, if you do like going to the salon and you do like going to the spa, budget that in there too. A good little tip, if you're doing spa or you're doing the salon, the best time to book that is during port days. There's just not a lot of people on the ship, so they're trying to get people in the spa during those times if they happen to be on the ship. So if you want to save some money on spa or salon, think about port days. But if you're going to do it, get it on your budget. Now, this last section I like to call is my miscellaneous expenses for when I'm budgeting for my cruise vacation. These are the things that kind of will sneak up on you if you don't think about them, and they'll just kind of, add more to your cost that you say, I wonder where that money went. Well, get it on your budget, and this way you don't get scared or, basically surprised by some extra expenses that you weren't expecting. For me, one of them is cash tips. I like to leave cash tips. I like to give people who get me my drink $1. I like to give my bartender $1 when I get a drink. I like to leave some money for the people who are cleaning my room in the hotel. I like to do those things, so I make sure I put it in my budget. Now, if you don't do it, you don't have to use that line item, but it's something that I put on my budget, so I know I have that there and I don't get surprised. I'm like, I wonder where that $200 went during this week. It's just on my budget and I don't have to worry about it. The other thing that you might need to put on there is something like, if you have someone watching your dogs while you're away on vacation or watching your house. These are those type of expenses that a lot of people just don't think about when they're going on vacation. And the final thing is also gifts. Sometimes people like to give gifts to family members, to friends. When you're going to visit these cool locations, you know of a friend who collects magnets from all sorts of places, and you want to just give them a magnet just to say, hey, I was thinking about you when I saw this. Make sure you have a line item for those gifts, for those miscellaneous expenses when you're walking around port. You might be grabbing a soda or a water, or maybe picking up an appetizer somewhere or something to nosh on as you're walking around. Just put it in your budget. Figure out, saying, maybe I might spend around $50 per port, and we're going to 4 ports. Throw $200 in there, just so it's there. Make sure it's there, and this way you don't get, surprised when all of a sudden you're like, I wonder where that $200 went. Oh yeah, that's where it went. And when I bought that gift for this person, or I bought this for my son, it's now on your budget. So there you go, folks. That is our Cruise Budgeting 101 course. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, hey, give it a big thumbs up. It really does help that YouTube algorithm. It does help other people find this channel, and it does help us grow. And if you're still watching this video and you're not a member of this Cruise Seekers community, hey, please think about subscribing, turn that notification bell on. We would love to have you here as a member of the Cruise Seekers crew. What kind of things do you put on your budget that I missed on mine? I would love to hear from you folks in the comment section. We love comments. We love engaging with you folks in the comment section. So until we talk again next time, this is Rob from Cruise Seekers, reminding each and every one of you to always seek the seas. Bye now.